President Trump failing to fill the arena after bragging that 1 million people were trying to attend his rally.
He had pushed his staff to hold it despite concerns among some of his top advisors that it was too soon to be back in a rally setting like this. And what's left here is sort of an embarrassing spectacle.
It is far lower than the expectations that the White House and the president himself put out. They expected this arena to be full. You can see behind me that there are seats that are not filled.
For him, all he cares about is how it looks. And boy, oh boy, it looked embarrassing for him tonight.
Okay, so you obviously see that media montage criticizing the number of attendees at the Trump rally last night. Well, we have someone who was there. New York Congressman Lee Zeldin joins the show now to give us a little insight into what the mood was actually like. So, Congressman, is that criticism by media valid, or was there a lot of energy on the ground, and are they wrong?
Oh, the energy was outstanding. Everybody who was there, they were excited to be there. There were people who were camped out for days waiting for the opportunity to get into the venue. Now, as far as those members of the media who were just commenting, if there were more people there, they'd be complaining that there were too many. They showed this days in advance that they were going to be complaining about the amount of people who were there regardless. So there's that dynamic. Oklahoma is deep into a reopening. Joe Biden's campaigning out of his basement, and they really don't want President Trump to get back on the campaign trail. And President Trump's the type of person who wants to get around America and be able to do these rallies and understand that there's a huge stakes election coming up in November, and the president wants to be out with the people. But the energy inside of that arena was absolutely fantastic, of people bleeding red, white, and blue, loving our country, principled, passionate. They love their president, not just enough to be showing up there, but enough to be campaigning hard to get him 4 more years in office.
Congressman, a colleague of yours, AOC, making bold claims. Let me explain. Last night, Trump campaign manager Brad Parscale tweeted this about the crowd in attendance, saying radical protesters fueled by a week of apoplectic media coverage, interfered with Trump supporters at the rally. They even blocked access to the metal detectors, preventing people from entering, thanks to the thousands who made it anyway. Well, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez then gloating this. Actually, you just got rocked by teens on TikTok who flooded the Trump campaign with fake ticket reservations and tricked you into believing 1 million people wanted your white supremacist open mic enough to pack an arena during COVID. Shout out to Zoomers. Y'all make me so proud. Congressman, your reaction.
Well, I think AOC said the quiet part out loud. The fact that they meddle like this, they don't have the opportunity to register for a rally for Joe Biden because Joe Biden is hanging out in his basement. By the way, if Joe Biden was having a rally yesterday in Tulsa, Oklahoma, for example, there would be barely anybody there at all. We saw a lot of the Black Lives Matter protesters and their activities to prevent individuals from being able to get into the venue. And again, you had people camping out there since Wednesday. So there were a few dynamics that were at play. I was sitting next to one member of Congress who was having constituents contacting him saying that they had registered to come, but they didn't think that they'd be able to get in if they came down. But regardless of that, you had just an amazing energy inside of that room and the folks who were there. But AOC bragging about them meddling like that because they don't have better things to do. And I'll tell you what, a whole other sad dynamic is as I'm coming here into the studio, I got into D.C. just a few hours ago, and I'm seeing all of these different businesses boarded up. And as the substance of what President Trump is talking about, as you look at Seattle and its effort to defund the police and that reality that if you call 911 because there's an intruder in your house, you don't want them to be sending a social worker. They don't want to talk about the substance of what President Trump is talking about, from the economy to national security. And substantively, there were a lot of fantastic points that really highlight why President Trump is going to end up getting reelected. And I will tell if you're out there and you're a supporter of President Trump, I would say campaign like you're behind, regardless of what any poll ever shows, good, bad, or indifferent. We got to fight for it. You can't take anything for granted. Losing isn't an option. Everything is at stake. So just get out after it. Forget about the polls. You have a president who's getting good things done, and he wants to get more done for this country.
I mean, Congressman, to your point, it was a very effective campaigning contrast speech between what the world and America will look like between the two. By the way, there's a video out there on MSNBC, 4:03 p.m. Central Time, Tulsa time, literally an entrance for Trump supporters blocked by Black Lives Matter protesters. It's right there. They reported on it on the Democrats' favorite channel, MSNBC. But to the content of the speech, the president talked about the left and their attempts to erase history. Here's a part of what he had to say, and we'll get you to react.
The unhinged left-wing mob is trying to vandalize our history, tear down our statues, and punish, cancel, and persecute anyone who does not conform to their demands for absolute and total control. We're not conforming. That's why we're here, actually. This cruel campaign of censorship and exclusion violates everything we hold dear as Americans.
Why does this resonate with people so much?
Because this is a crowd that doesn't want to see our country torn down. They don't want to see our country burnt down. They're tired of watching all the looting that's been going on. They want to see our country lifted up. They want to unite with fellow Americans. The tolerance was inside of that room. You saw a lot of people holding, I mean, we're just sitting right next to a section of Blacks for Trump. And you saw veterans in the crowd and all sorts of other minorities and different viewpoints. You had an inclusive arena filled with people who want to unite for a better country, and you put on the TV and you're watching individuals trying to tear down our country in so many different ways. So that contrast is crystal clear. The president is right to highlight it. We would like to put up more reflections on whether it's a founding father of our country, or others who served in the military. We want to celebrate America. We want to celebrate our Constitution, our freedoms, our liberties. We want to defend them and protect them. And meanwhile, we're watching people just looking to try to tear it all down. And it's a sad contrast, but it's an effective one, too, to point out.
Congressman, I want to ask you quickly about New York, because it's a big day for New York City tomorrow. New York's going to enter phase 2 of reopening, allowing shopping, outdoor dining. What do you make of that? Your district on Long Island is moving toward phase 3. So how's this going to go? How do you anticipate that this is going to play out?
Yeah, so parts of upstate already moved into phase 3. As you point out, Long Island's moving into phase 3. This upcoming Wednesday is expected to. New York City moving into phase 2. The economy needs to get reopened. The numbers have been very low over the course of the last few weeks on so many different levels of what was being followed. And what was crazy is before you saw New York City moving into phase 1 of the economy reopening, you had tens of thousands of people moving into phase 11 of rioting and looting, not just protesting, but what they took their activities to a next level that got a whole lot of people hurt. I would point out, while you're watching maybe 25,000 people who will gather together for a protest, say in Brooklyn, you're capping high school graduations at 150. That doesn't make sense. You're capping houses of worship at 25%. That doesn't make sense. You're not allowing some kids to go play around in the local park where Jewish kids like to go play, maybe just a few blocks from where that protest was going on. So I would actually encourage the governor to look at where the inconsistency is across the board, and that will lead to resentment. It's getting warm. People are tired of being cooped up. They want to get out there and enjoy their lives. So it's time to reopen, but we can actually be reopening faster, and we can do it safely.
Phase 11. Didn't know it was there, but saw it before my eyes. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Congressman Lee Zeldin, thank you so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.